there any law applicable before the POPIA Act which authorizes you to take the device without the permission of the
Yes,
owner?
we took it as an exhibit.
Sorry?
We took it as exhibit in a crime, from a crime scene.
Ingabe ke nanjengoba sengikhoqeleke manje kulo mbuzo ke bengikubuza wona ke mayelana nawo ke lo mthetho ukuthi uyi-POPI Act. Ukhona yini umthetho ke onivumelaka ukuthi nithathe leyo makhalekhukhwini ngaphandle kwemvume yakhe umnikazi? Yebo sathatha ke leyo makhalekhukhwini nanjengezibithi ke la ekwenzeka khona isigameko.
And you further confirm that there was no need to approach any court, any competent court to obtain permission, either from the data user or the
That's
court.
correct, no.
Ngiyakusho ke nokuthi ke futhi kwakungekho ke ukuthi noma umthetho ke othi asiye enkantolo siyothola khona ke imvume yokuthi umakhalekhukhwini loyo siwuthathe.
I understand that you took it as an exhibit, but are you mindful of the fact that a right to privacy of a particular person was existing at that time?
That's correct, but they didn't have any objections when the people of Tom's seized the items at the crime scene.
Nkathi ke abantu noma laba ke abakwa Toms bethatha ke umakhalekhukhwini noma ke amazibithi lawo kwindawo yesigameko akuzange kube khona ke onenkinga noma ke kube khona ke oshoyo ukuthi ke cha yena ke akahambisani nalokho.
All right. In conclusion of my cross-examination, I will argue later that the rights of Kelly Khumalo and the person named in the communication between Kelly Khumalo, which is accused number 5, were infringed. I will argue that later.
Counsel, if Mr. Mgumizulu can lay the basis for that, the witnesses just answer that the persons did not object or consented when the exhibits were seized. On what basis now counsel putting this proposition?
There is no formal evidence on the non-objection by that party. This is just an answer from the witness, because there's no such evidence. This is what I'm going to argue at a later stage, that they infringe the rights of these persons in terms of Section 35(5).
Which rights are those? Sorry, let me understand.
The
Which rights are those?
That the information obtained from Kelly Khumalo or the communications relating to what the state is alleging, it was a communication between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5 was obtained unlawfully in terms of Section 35(5).
I thought number 5 is saying never communicated with Ms. Kelly Khumalo.
That's correct. That's
now how is that reconcilable?
my lord, may I address it?
Yeah, fine.
For the court to understand. I said this is what the state is saying. This is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Accused number 5 has said. I'll argue from what the point of what is said by
Okay,
the
fine.
state. Yes.
Did you read that decision I gave you?
No. That
About
decision I didn't.
proximate, immediate, etc., etc. You haven't read it. No problem.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
read
you don't have to
but
read it.
That's what I'm going to
Yeah, fine,
submit
okay.
at a later stage.
Okay, fine.
That concludes my cross
All right,
examination.
Mr. Ramasipidi. Enige vragen.
As the court pleases, my lord, I do have some clarification questions to the witness. Good day, Colonel. Colonel, let me start you with Exhibit 01, your first affidavit that you testified to previously, August last year. And I'm going straight for paragraph 4 thereof. And it reads, on 9 April 2020 at about 10, I received a CD, Section 205, and cell phone downloads from the investigating officer, Brigadier Geninda, with the information about the following targets. Let us stop it there. The CD that you were handed, what did it contain, according to this paragraph?
It was not only one CD.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
one CD with 205, one CD with the downloads.
Also, it's a separate CD with
Yes, that's
the
correct.
downloads? Because I see here it's repetition, because when it says cell phone downloads and whatever, it doesn't
Yes.
say
Two
this
CDs.
particular CD contained the 205s and the other contained the downloads.
Lana ke angikhulumi nge-CD eyodwa njengoba ngithi ke ngathola ke i-CD kuyena ubrigadier noma ke kuyena ke owumphenyi kwakuyi-CD eyodwa enama 205 enye i-CD nama downloads.
And then the section 205 that you referred to, is it in respect of which numbers? I'll give you these numbers. Because in the context of the evidence here, it has been mentioned that, and much has been made, that Kelly Khumalo used about 6, 7, 8 numbers. Now, was it in respect of, and I'll give you the N numbers only, and I'll give you the names. 6669, which is Zandile Khumalo.
That's correct.
Don't go fast.
0436 in respect of Longwe Twala. And the two numbers for Miss Kelly Khumalo, which are 2498 and the other one is 4358. So the 205 that you received, was it only in respect of those 4 numbers, or were there any additional numbers from other networks? Because we see these numbers mainly are from the Vodacom service provider. And according to the subpoenas that were issued, several numbers from other mobile network operators were requested.
That's correct.
Okay.
I did receive more than this, only this 4.
Kunalama number ke abiziwe ke lana ke ufuna ukwazi ke umeli ukuthi ke iwona kuphela yini noma kunamanye ama number owathola ama 204 wawo u669 akazadile Khumalo 0436 ulongwe Twala u2498 kanye no4358 awa number lawo mabili ke kaKelly uthi yebo kuyiqiniso ke ukuthi ke ngathola kamanye angaphezulu kwala awu4 owabizile.
And in your previous testimony, you had stated that the object for your exercise was to determine, amongst others, if there are any linkages between the current accused persons before court and the people that were in the house at the time of the commission of the offense. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Bengishilo ke ngaphambilini kubufakazi bami ukuthi ke inhloso ke nama injongo yako ke lokho noma ke lo msebenzi engangiwenza ukubheka ukuthi kwakukhona yini okuhlanganisa noma kwakukhona yini ukuxhumana kwakukhona ke phakathi kwabo ke abamangaleli noma basola ke phambi kwenkantolo kanye nabanye balabo ababengaphakathi endlini.
Now let's go to paragraph 5, and I want us to sort this aspect once and for all to determine exactly how many cell numbers Kelly Khumalo was using on the 26th of October 2014. And in paragraph 5, you state as follows. The heading is Kelly Khumalo, and then you state, during my analysis, I identify the following numbers which belongs to Kelly Khumalo. You give an ID number that I'm not going to repeat on record, which I can prove via links with family, friends, XDS, which is the Expert Decision System, the Central Database Reference, and then full stop, you say Police Crime Administration System, eNatis, and Truecaller. Do you confirm that? That's where you source the numbers from?
That's correct.
And there's a block there, a column that I cannot decipher what's in there. I'll skip it. Then you say the following extraction out of XDS to trace the following numbers of Kelly Khumalo. The first one is 2779 494 48773, and then next to it you've written the date of 07/05/2018. You see that?
That's correct.
Okay. Lana ke afunda khona ke paragraph 5 uthi ke kucwaningo lwami engakwenza ke ngathola ke ukuthi lama number alandelayo ekuwawakhe uKelly Khumalo kwase kubizwa ke ID number ayinkomba ke ukuhlanganisa umndeni abangane kusetshenziswa yona ke iXDX kuphenyo ke olwenziwayo amaphoyisa nokuthi ke futhi lokho kulandelayo kwatholakala kuyona ke iXDS ukuzama ke ukulandelela nokuthola futhi ama number wakhe uKelly Khumalo wasebeka u2779 4948773 idate 2018-05-07 yebo.
Now, my question is this. In respect of this number, the 8773 number that I've just mentioned, did you get any section 205 in regards to that number?
No, my lord, because it was older than 3 years. We couldn't apply for it.
Then ke in number egcina ngo 8773 ingabe wona yona ke khona yini i205 owayithola cha angizange ngoba ke yayinesikhathi esingaphezulu kweminyaka emithathu ke ukusho ukuthi ke yayindala ke sasingeke siyithole i205 ngayo.
And the date that is next to that of the 07/05/2018, what does it delineate? What does it say? What's the relevance of that date?
It's the same date which is mentioned on the XDX. That is the time she used that cell phone number as a reference.
Kune date ke lapha no 2018-05-07 isho kuthini inumber leya eyabuya ke nayo ke noma kuyatholakala ke ku XDS ukuthi ke isikhathi ke leso owayisebenzisa leya number ngaso.
Now, since the usage of this phone is overtaken by the time limit of 3 years for the section 205 call data records, are we able to tell whether or not specifically on the 26th of October 2014 Kelly Khumalo used this phone? Can we tell?
No, I can't, because I don't have section 205 information.
Ngenxa ke yokuthi imininingwane yayo i205 yale number egcina ngo 8773 ngingenayo angeke ngibe kusimeko sokusho ukuthi ke ngalo ilanga lela lesigameko 26 October 2014 ukuthi wayisebenzisa yini uKelly leya number.
And then we go on, you say in your affidavit at page 3 under paragraph 5, used as contact number as per Rosebank CAS 01/06/2007, and then theft general victim. She was a complainant, I assume. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okunye futhi okulandelayo ukuthi yasetshenziswa ke nanjenge number kwicala ke lase Rosebank 106/2007 lapho ke yebo uyena ke umuntu owayonile.
And the relevant numbers mentioned therein are 2773 388 6730, and the date next to it is 03/05/2017, and the following number is 2761 456 2104. The date next to it is 08/04/2017. Do you see that?
That's correct.
Futhi ke ama number akambandekanyekayo lapho 27733886730 nge 2017-05-03 no 27614562104 2017-04-08.
In respect of these numbers that I've just read out now, the 6730 and the 2104, were section 205 call detail records obtained?
No, because I only come involved in this case during 2020.
Okay.
In a 3-year period.
Nanjo la kulama number akasechaziwe ke asho 2017 ke namniningwane engayithola ke ngawo ngoba ke mina ke ngathi mangiqala ke kulecala leli kwabe kungo 2020 bese kudle isikhathi seminyaka emithathu.
Before I proceed to the next numbers, let's just clarify this, because you say you only started being involved in this case in 2020. In terms of your previous testimony is that, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, the section 205 was already, in respect of the numbers that, a myriad of numbers that were requested on, was already requested by the previous investigating team before the team of Brigadier Gininda, but that it was stored in the central database of the SAPS. So it was already there. You need not apply for it again in 2020. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Kuyiqiniso njengoba bese ngishilo ngaphambilini ukuthi ke nanjengoba lalikhona ke linye ithimba eliphenyayo ngaphambilini ke uma manje ke sekufika ke Brigadier Gininda engicela ukuthi ngenze lokhu ke sasingekho isidingo sokuthi ke ngihambe ngiyobheka ke ngoba ke kwase kukhona ke lokho kwi system yamaphoyisa.
So if the 205s, section 205s call data records for these two numbers that we are talking about were already requested in 2014, that was prior before you came.
That's correct.
Because then I assume, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, they are still within the time period because they were already applied for in 2014. So, and the testimony of Pinky says, once Section 205s are requested and provided for, they become permanently archived, so they can be retrieved because now they are used for litigation by the SAPS and other law enforcement agencies.
That's correct. If someone applied for it in a 205.
Okay.
Yabo ke kuyiqiniso uma ke sengifika ke mina ke manje sengenza uphenyo noma ithimba likaGininda ke nanjengoba usho ke ukuthi ushilo owakwa Vodacom ke ukuthi uma sekwenziwe ke isicelo ukuthi le mniningwane iyagcinwa ke uma kwawukuthi ke kwayekhona ke owayewacelile lamanamba amabili esikhuluma ngawo u6730 no2104 ayezoba khona kwi system yamaphoyisa.
Okay, let's proceed to the next number on page 4, which is number 271188314447, and the date next to it is the 28/03/2017. Do you see that?
That's correct.
Bese sidlulela ke manje kwi number ewu271188314447 idate yakhona ke 28/3/2017.
And again, my question in respect of that number was a section 205 call data record obtained.
No.
Lana ke ingaba i205 yona ke yatholakala yini noma u section 205 umbuzo uthi cha.
Now
Now
the-
impendulo ithi cha sir.
Okay. Now the next number that is pertinent to this matter is the 277293822498, and this one I don't even have to ask you. I know that a section 205 was obtained because
That's
it's
correct.
been testified about here in this court.
Elandelayo ke inumber u277293843829498 lo leona ke asikho isidingo sokuthi ngikubuze ke ngiyazi sekufakaziwe ke ngayo leyo number lana ngiyazi ukuthi 205 yayikhona uthi yebo.
And with respect to the landline 2711-413-1179, do you also sometimes in the line of duty, do the investigating officers obtain section 205 regarding landline numbers?
That's correct.
Ingame kuphenyo ke abaphenyi yini bake bakwenze yini ukuthi ke basebenzeke ngalokho kubizwa ukuthi ke ama landline amafoni ke asendlini ngoba kunale number ewu27114131179 yebo kuyiqiniso.
And with respect to that landline, do you know whether or not a section 205 call data record was obtained?
No, not as far as my knowledge.
Ngolwazi ke enginalo cha akukho ke imininingwane ye205 eyatholakala mayelana nale number.
The next number that we go to is 2773-451-5017, and the date next to it is 27/08/2012. You see that one?
That's correct, and there's also no 205 for that one.
Okay.
Bese kuthi landelayo ke u27734515017 2012-08-27 yebo ngiyayibona futhi ke akukho imininingwane ye205 kuyona leya number.
And the last number is the one that is also pertinent to this case, and is the 2782-704-4358. A section 205 was obtained in respect of that number, correct?
That's correct.
Elandelayo ke yenye futhi ke inumber nayo ke ekukhulunywayo ngayo ke kulicala 278270444358 yebo kuqiniswa-ke ukuthi nayona-ke kuyona-ke u-205 atholakala.
Now, let's deal a bit with this number 2782704538, the bottom one. On the 26th of October 2014, at any stage, according to your analysis, were there any activities on this number?
You are talking about activities on,
On the 4358
yeah,
number?
but on the phone or on the download?
On the phone itself.
If I look here on the, on the data used,
Yes.
from 1400 hours, 2 on the 26th, no activities on the phone. 26, 1407.
Umbuzo ukuthi ke uma ubheka le number ke lena ke egcina ngaye u4358 ngazo i26 October 2014 kwakukhona yini okwakwenzeka ke kuyena lo makhala ekhukhwini uma impendulo ke ithi uma ngibuka lana isikhathi 1407 ngazo i26 October 2014 cha akukho ke okwakwenzeka.
And until when were there no activities on that number?
Let's say until the end, because during the night of 27,
Yes.
the police is in position of the phone.
Ngathi ke kwaze kwaba sekugcineni ke ngoba ke ngobusuku bazo i27 zika October ke umakhala ekhukhwini lona wawusezandleni zamaphoyisa.
I'll come to that in a moment. Just for the sake of completeness, on the 25th of October, the day before the incident, are there any activities on this phone, the 4358?
There were some activities. He did receive SMS.
Ingabe ke masikhulume ke manje ngazo i25 ilanga ke lengaphambili kwaleli sigameko ingabe khona yini okwakwenzeka ke kuyona le number le egcina ngayo u4358 yebo nama SMS eyawathola.
Were there only SMSs? There were no call activities received, outgoing?
Let me just go to the cell phone lock still. There's only SMS and he didn't answer any calls.
Nama SMS ama calls ke awaphenduliwe.
Now, per the information available to you, if you recall, when were the phone, the 4358, I'm sorry, seized by the police on the 26th or 27th of October? Do you know what time?
No, I'm not sure about that.
Ngabe ngazo ke i26 noma ke i27 isiphi isikhathi la amaphoyisa ke athatha khona ke lo cingo lolu cha isikhathi angisazi.
As far as my knowledge, the Sergeant Moswana and Colonel Netlam seized it during that night.
Mina ke ulwazi enginalo ke ukuthi ke u Sergeant Mshwana kanye naye ke uKolonel Netlam bawuthatha ke lo makhalekhukhwini ngalobo busuku lobo.
The reason I'm asking you this is the following. Indeed so, Zandile Khumalo testifies in this court, and she stated that upon their return from Butsilong Hospital, once it was certified that the person that was shot has died, upon return to the home, 13511 Kultano Street, Mzamo section, that is the crime scene, before they could enter the house, their personal cell phones were seized from them and packaged by the police. So I agree that this phone was seized. What is the issue is your inference in your testimony that there was a device put up which implies that for nefarious reasons or for legitimate reasons, the user or the owner of that phone attempted to delete the whole or part of the data on the phone.
That's correct.
Lana ke ngingavumelana ke nawe uma usho ke ukuthi ke leyo phone leyo ke yayisemaphoyiseni ngoba ngobufakazi bakhe ke uZandile Khumalo ushilo ukuthi nkathi sebebuya ke esibhedlela ke uButhilong bebuyela khona ke e13511 kuTlanong Street eMzamo section eFosloras amafoni noma amakhalekhukhwini babo bathathwa ke iwona amaphoyisa manje ke kwena ke kokushoyo ke kubufakazi bakho ukuthi ke kwaba khona ke ukuvuswa ke noma ke ukhona ke ukuthi kwakunemniningwane ke esulwayo noma ke ukudelete okwenzeka kuleya phone ukusho ukuthi umnikazi wayo wenza lokho.
And you put the time of the device boot up at around 1 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. And by then, according to the testimony of Zandile, because they returned from the hospital between 11 and 12 a.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 00 a.m., the phone was already in the possession of the police. So the user or the owner could not have been the person that performed that device boot up action or activity on the phone.
My lord, I can't testify on when did they seize the phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
quite.
All right.
Lana ke nanjengoba wena ke ukuthi ke ukuvuswa ke noma ke ukuthi ke ibhuthwe ke ifoni lokho kwenzeka ke ngo1 entathakusa ngaleso sikhathi leso ke akhonakala ukuthi kwakuwumnikazi ke owakwenza lokho ngoba ngobufakazi bakhe ke uZandile ke babuya phakathi ko11 ebusuku ke kanye futhi ke no12 uthi ke umephandula ke angikho kwisimo sokuthi ke noma angikwazi ukuthi ngaphendula ukuthi amaphoyisa abathatha ngasiphi isikhathi amakhalekhukhwini.
Yes,
As a good Christian, my learned friend just refers to the relevant portion in the report where Ms. Zandile Khumalo testified about this aspect.
No,
so
she
that we
never
can
did.
check.
she never testified about which aspect, my lord?
Yeah.
About which aspect?
Concerning the rebooting of the phone after it was.
I'm saying about the seizing of the phone.
Yeah. But
The
the
phones were
critical thing
seized
is the rebooting,
Upon,
not so much the seizing.
I said his testimony is that,
Whose testimony?
Lieutenant Colonel
Yeah.
Steyn, is that the boot up, let's not confuse this glossary of terms. Rebooting is something else. Boot up. He says the boot up happens at around 1. Him, not Zandile talking about that. So, and I'll give you that, in fact, to be fair to you. Unless you've got the actual log of when these phones were collected, you wouldn't tell when they were seized from these people. But the point is that this phone was seized by the police on that night.
That's correct.
Yebo lokho kuyiqiniso ukuthi ngalo babusuku lo yana amafoni ke noma umakhalekhukhwini lona ke wathathwa ke amaphoyisa.
Now, in fact, let's go to this boot up device boot up, because you and I must be frank with you. I was quite perplexed when you said boot up means somebody is trying to delete memory data, wipe out his or their phone.
That's correct.
With my little understanding and You are the expert, but what I researched about this, hence I said to the court, let's not use reboot, boot, because they mean different things. My research on this aspect, it says boot up of a device means my phone was switched off. I'm simply switching it on. If I want to delete something and wipe out my memory, you testified correctly to Mr. Mgomezu. You use factory settings to wipe out of your entire memory. That's what you said to Mr. Mgomezu. If I want to delete or wipe out my memory, I'll go to factory settings, then I'll instruct my phone to do whatever it does, and it does. My research shows me exactly that. But the boot up of a device means I'm switching on a phone that was sleeping, that was off. It's got nothing to do with the deletion of information on that device.
Sorry.
My lord, I can't agree. Then there must be a list like this when she switches on and off the phone.
Lana ke mina ke uma ngenzo lwami ke uphenyo ke kunalamagama ke asetshenziswayo ke ingakho ke ngithe inkantolo ke asingasebenzisi ke ole boot ngoba lokho kusho ukuthi kusho kunye bese ukuthi ke uboot up ke uvuswa kwayo ke uma ngabe umakhala ekhukhwini ubucinyiwe ke ila manje usuvusa khona ke uyaphinda futhi uyawulayita ke manje kungihluphileke mina uma ngabe wena uthi ke uboot up ila usukhipha khona ke yonke imininingwane kodwa kathi uphendule yena ke uadvocate Mr. Mgomezu ushilo ke ukuthi uya ku factory settings la uzotshela khona umakhala ekhukhwini wakho ukuthi ke akase esule konke ke uthi ke maphendula ke angivumelani ke nalokho okusho ukuthi ke bekukuningi ke akwenzile ke lapho na bekunaloya boot up khona.
Okay. Now let's go to the so-called runaway phone, which will be this number, the 2772932498, that was allegedly stolen from 13511 Kutlano Street by the perpetrators that entered that house. In your previous testimony, sorry.
Can you repeat the number?
Sorry, 13511 Kutlano Street.
The number of the cell phone.
Or the number is this number, sorry, 2772938498. Right. Let's go to, according to your analysis, or we can go to the section 205 itself.
I don't have the 205 in front of me now.
Yeah, it can be available to you, but let's go according to what you did and the access of the 205 that you had. You stated in your testimony previously, last year, August, that this runaway or so-called runaway phone, its last activity was 21:52:57 or thereabouts, and the tower that it registered on was Moleleki Tower. Do you remember that?
That's correct.
Kubufakazi bakho ke owabethula ke kunyaka ondlule ngo-August ke mayelana nale phone ke noma lo makhala ekhukhwini ke owale number ewu2772938248 ekuyinamba ke noma makhala ekhukhwini owasho kubufakazi bakho ukuthi ke ilena labo abangena endlini ababaleka noma bahamba nayo wathi ke phakathi kwa-21:52:57 isikhathi sokugcina ke leyo phone leyo ke ekwakukhona kwenzeka kuyona futhi tower eyayicosha kwakuyimuleleki yebo kuyiqiniso.
And you testified that Moleleki Tower is in the vicinity of a hostel. At that time you did not specify which hostel, but we were talking within the context of Basotho Hostel. So I'm giving you this chance to clarify that, because I put as a proposition to Ms. Vaitillingham, and my learned colleague, Ms. Advocate Sibanda, objected to say, you did not say so. So I want to put it so that you clarify that. We are on the same page.
But be fair to the witness, give the witness a map, because all of us were in the dark until a map surfaced, or maps surfaced.
Yes, I'll refer the witness. There's exhibit
Yeah.
JJ 10 5 that depicts Basotho Hostel and the distance between Basotho Hostel and Moleleki SGS. That's exhibit JJ10, my lord, in brackets 5. And also, my lord, there's a. We can deal with this one. There's another one also that I want to refer the witness to. Or there's exhibit JJ7 in brackets capital A. Those two documents, my lord, those two exhibits, which will show a variety of data that Ms. Vaitilingen testified about. Now, that is for tower locations and distances, and the pertinent distance is Basotho Hostel to Moleleki SGS Tower, which will be on page 2 of that document. Do you see that?
Yes.
And according to this exhibit, the distance between Basotho Hostel and Moleleki SGS Tower is about 4.7 kilometers to in between the two places. You see that?
That's correct.
Yebo ngokwalana ke ngiyabona ke ukuthi ibanga ke phakathi kweBasotho Hostel kanye neMoleleki ama kilometer awu 4.7.
Remember on your penultimate day when you were led by my learned colleague, Advocate Baloyi, and that was also part of the bench question, where you were asked whether you have distances between clinics and clinics hospital, Butsilon clinics, and the crime scene, whether you've got distances between the crime scene and Basotho Hostel, and you came up with certain kilometers. And in fact, you stated that you had even searched Google Earth and you traveled and saw that clinics tower is in the vicinity of Phosphorus Clinics Hospital. You remember?
That's correct.
Ngiyakhumbula ke ngibuza ngamabanga ke kusuka kwindaba yesigameko ke isibhedlela ke iButhilong ngase ngisho ke ukuthi ke ngenile ke kuyona ke Google Maps ngase nginikeza ngamabanga athize.
Now, with respect to this Moleleki Tower, it is important for the following reason. The state's theory is that the phone that was stolen belonging to Ms. Kelly Khumalo, the Samsung S4, its movement leads to, and the signal dies, according to the affidavit of Brigadier Belinda, when it reaches the hostel. And according to the evidence of Pinky Vaitilingen, where's the document? What's my document now? There are, here. There are about 3 towers in the vicinity of Basotho Hostel, and Moleleki Tower wouldn't be one of the towers that service Basotho Hostel, because the towers that are there, it's 2G Foslora Square, next in the vicinity of Basotho Hostel. It will be 2G Clinics Fosloras MN1 SGS. It will be the Fosloras Hostel, and it will be Bupang Khotso Hostel. So Muleleki Tower is, she even pointed, it's down here in the south, further away from Basotho Hostel.
My Lord, it's possible that he could, that the cell phone tower in question being used that time. The phone was moving. So it's possible that he didn't use, he used the strongest signal from the tower. So it's possible that they will pick up another tower. So it's not to say he will always use the closest one.
Kungenzeka-ke ukuthi-ke nanjengoba ifoni lena-ke iku-movement-ke noma ingekho-ke endaweni eyodwa-ke ukuthi-ke angeke mhlampe icosheke itower le ekuyiyona-ke ezoba eduze kodwa-ke ingacosha leyo ekuyiyona-ke e-strong.
You see, that answer of possibilities does not pass muster. And I'll tell you why. Everything under this sun is possible. Now, with that answer that we've just proffered, we'll have then to determine the range of coverage of Muleleki. You agree?
It's not necessary, because please bear in mind, this is all SMS. It's not a call.
Sorry?
It's SMS. It's not a call.
Ekufanele ukubheke-ke lana-ke nanjengoba ummeli-ke ethi kuzofanele manje sesibheke-ke ukuthi ibanga-ke kuyona-ke imuleleki lena uthi-ke uzukhumbuleke lana ukuthi-ke asikhulumi-ke ngokushaya kocingo noma-ke ama-call kodwa sikhuluma ngama-SMS.
Which activity are you referring to, an SMS that logged Muleleki Tower?
At 21:53:44. It's
Yes.
a SMS.
21:53:44 masibheka leso sikhathi leso i-SMS leya.
And what's the difference between an SMS and a voice call received or outgoing, registering on a tower to make an activity?
On the SMS, it can go to the strongest, or it can go to a tower with a dish, not the normal dish, which is all, I must say, to take the load off the normal tower. So all the SMSs can go to a tower with two different functions.
Uma sikhuluma lana nge-SMS sikhuluma-ke la engaya khona-ke kwi-tower-ke nama-functions ahlukile noma-ke engasiyona eyodwa noma amabili.
Leonard Friends busy with cross-examination. The witness was called specifically to
No, it's
testify.
okay. Let him go on. No problem.
That's a good please.
No problem.
In fact, my Lord, that's one of the clarification questions that I requested when the witness was
Yeah.
called, whether are we limited to the two aspects or to clarify issues.
No, fine.
Yes.
Yes. No problem. I don't know. But just recall what Mr. Tillingham said.
Yes.
He said that sometimes,
Yeah.
if this is the nearest tower,
Yes.
we were traveling with this way, and this is the farthest tower.
Yes.
If this tower is overworked, that's correct.
That's correct.
If it's overworked, it will not impinge on this. It will impinge on the next tower, which is further up away, but it's not overworked. That's how Pinky Tillingham testified. Is there
100%.
truth in that statement?
That's true.
100%, my Lord.
Yeah.
But remember also the limitation in urban,
Yes.
rural, and the like. And she testified that in urban areas it can be 250 to
That's it.
initially 25, then
Yes.
she went to 5 kilometers. That's why my proposition is that if he says this is a possibility, then somebody else must come and tell us. Not today, not in 2020, but
When?
back in 2014, how these towers were,
please.
were.
2014.
Yes,
Who
my
will
Lord.
tell us in 2014?
Sorry?
Who is that who will tell us in 2014?
My Lord, that's how they determine the range of towers.
No, but
in-
I'm asking you, who?
Yes.
So that we must call that person.
We had spoken to my learned colleague before to say that an engineer can tell us, because some of the towers were not even in existence in 2014. Towers are commissioned and decommissioned, my Lord.
Yes, any other further clarification questions or questions?
I'm looking at my notes, my lord. I'm just about done. No, it's fine. I'm finishing. We'll eat. My lord, practically those are my questions that I wanted to clarify. I just want to make sure that I don't leave out so that once I'm done, Lieutenant Colonel doesn't have to come back from George. Those are all the clarification questions, my lord. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yes, sir.
My lord, it's apparently 1 o'clock,
What time would we come back?
at 2 o'clock, my lord.
Are you okay, 2 o'clock, sir?
That's right.
You're not missing a plane. 2 o'clock then.